Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Back home in Alabama, had a wonderful time at the 2025 National and pick up some amazing items. Some of them I'm going to show today and kind of tell the story behind behind the finds, so to speak. But for starters, general impressions. The hobby, completely unsurprisingly, is very healthy, strong, tons of people. There is a second floor to the show now, and my brother and I went up to the second floor. They have a smaller number of dealers up there. We went up there, I think on Thursday, the second day, and it was too crowded to even be comfortable. It was bumper to bumper traffic down each aisle. We literally stayed maybe up there, maybe 15 minutes total, because it was. I'm not someone that's claustrophobic or anything like that, but it was too much for both of us. And so, the second floor, I'm not sure if they're going to continue to grow that, going forward, or what the deal is there, but they're going to need to not have everybody so crammed together if they're going to continue to expand. But the fact that they're expanding shows how big the hobby has gotten. There's a huge corporate presence, and one thing that is disappointing to me as an unopened collector is the fact that even companies like Baseball Card Exchange have there is more and more of a corporate feel to Baseball Card Exchange. It feels like it's lost that small town card shop feel. And maybe this has been happening over time and I just didn't realize it. But the fact that they have a corporate display, that's fine. They had an amazing booth with a lot of, amazing packs. I showed footage of some of their display. But then the fact that you have a separate booth and you just have a tiny little display of unopened, and they are known for, having an impressive display, and their individual packs were completely lackluster and completely disappointing. And that's just the way it is. So that was a bummer. But overall, even though Baseball Card Exchange, that part was disappointing, I got to talk to Steve Hart in person the last day before we left. That's actually the first time in person I've ever spoken with Steve Hart. I've had conversation after conversation after conversation with him over email, asked him questions, about the collation and all the stuff that he helps unopened collectors with, but I'd never met him in person. And so got to meet him in person for the first time. I'd met Phil Indris, the buyer, in person previously. I met Billy, the retail store manager, in person when I did a tour of their shop for this channel. But I'd never chatted with Steve. So right before we left on the last day, I got to chat with Steve Hart. So that was really, really cool. But crazily enough, I met a lot of people. We tried to have a YouTube content creators meetup, and we were kicked out of the location because I guess there's an issue because we're getting together in an event that isn't sponsored by the National. The hotel, I guess, had a no-compete clause, so we got kicked out. So I barely got to hang out with the content creators. So that was kind of a bummer. But I did talk to quite a few content creators, and it was a lot of fun. Some conversations were very brief, but a lot of people came up to me and said, "Hey, enjoy your channel. Hey, love your packs," stuff like that. Got to hang out with buddy Aaron, hobby buddy. He's a pack presser like I am, so he was at the show one day. We met up and talked about packs and pack pressing, and he showed me a few tricks of the trade, which I really appreciate. So Aaron, if you see this, very nice chatting with you. Met up with my buddy Tony. Tony Talks Cards is his YouTube channel. He and I, I've interviewed him several times. He's interviewed me on his channel. We've interviewed Kurt together on my channel. He's just a really, really good guy. And so he and I chatted for a while and walked around and went to Kurt Christensen's booth, which was really nice because I was disappointed on Wednesday with the Baseball Card Exchange booth, but I knew the Ripping Vintage Packs booth would have the type of items that I was looking for. And Kurt's prices are always very, very fair. And so I spent a fairly sizable amount of my budget with him. And I'm not showing everything, but I am going to show this pack that I got from Kurt on Wednesday, the first day. 1980 Topps rack. Sorry about the glare. There's no way around it with these BBC holders. 1980 Topps rack pack. Triple White Sox on top. This is what we call a jackpot rack. That is very, very rare and hard to find. 3 players from the same team on top. That's very difficult. And this was in his display, and the price was very, very fair. And I negotiated just a little bit on it, and I got this the first day. And this is just a really, really cool item. And I was telling my brother before I started filming, I sometimes in the moment you don't process, like you don't see every card at the show. It's impossible. It's sensory overload. And I didn't realize until this morning, really, really looking at this pack, beyond the 3 White Sox on top, how much I like that Alan Bannister card. That's a really, really cool card. So three White Sox on top, BBC already wrapped, so that's really cool. So got that from Kurt day 1, and that was awesome. But even before that, I met up with, before the show opened, right, I met up with Chris Thompson, who is a dealer from London, Ontario, which is where O-Pee-Chee was based. That's where the O-Pee-Chee factory was. And I did a video about how I finished my 1980 O-Pee-Chee baseball project, right? I've been buying pack by pack by pack, individual packs, 2 packs at a time on eBay for the last 2+ years. And I finally had a guy who had the final 12 packs that I needed for my box. And so Wednesday before the show even started, I completed this box. And I got home last night, and of course, I put the packs in the box, and there it is. I have to be very, very delicate with it, but these are, one pack total in the box has Reggie Jackson on the top. But I'm just going to enjoy this as is for a while until I send it to Baseball Card Exchange to get wrapped, because I just want to look. It took a long time to put this box together, and so I just want to look at the packs and enjoy the box. So those are a few really, really nice pickups on the first day. I also picked up a 75 Topps Mini wax pack that had Nolan Ryan face out on the back I've shown already. Day 2 was kind of a different feel. Day 2, I did not buy anything for a while. I walked around and walked around and walked around and walked around, and I was just not seeing anything that really spoke to me, something that excited me, and there was a lot less unopened this year across the board, including I didn't see a single raw 1978 O-Pee-Chee wax pack, at least where I was looking. I saw one 79 pack. I didn't see any 77s. The O-Pee-Chee unopened single packs, which in the past I've been able to pick up, dealers have them. They just were not there, or the dealers that had them, the packs were resealed. I looked at a 75 Topps Mini, or 75 Topps regular size wax pack. I flipped it over, and there was gum sticking out of the back, and the seal was clearly, this was a pack they were trying to basically pretend it was an unopened pack. They were charging $150 for it. And it was like, there's gum sticking out of the back. Like, what is, so frustrating experience just like that, where I thought maybe there'd be a raw pack that I could buy. You have to be careful. I have to look at the roller marks, make sure it was clean. But just a disappointing, that part was disappointing. But I walked around for a long time until I finally met a dealer that had super fair prices. They only had like 5 or 6 packs, but that's where I bought the 1970 Topps baseball wax pack that was PSA graded X5. I showed in a previous video as well. So my first purchase of day 2 was a big item, 1970 Topps baseball, and I love the pack, love the artwork on it. But then after that, I went and I started talking to another dealer who I've bought packs from in the past at the National. His name's Andy. I forget his last name, but I've done a few deals with him in the past, and he's a very fair, nice guy. And he and I were chatting about an open for a while, and I bought a pack from him, and it's actually this pack. It's a 1982 football rack pack. It has Jack Lambert on top. But the reason I bought this is because there is this awesome, this glare is so tough, 7-Eleven price sticker. And I have a 82 Tops wax pack that has the 7-Eleven price sticker on it. And I love when there's a price sticker on packs like this. It just adds such a cool factor to me. I can see this in the 7-Eleven, you know, the gas station. The fact that they had rack packs in gas stations, that's kind of cool. But I picked this up, and so I got the 70 Tops wax pack, and I got this, and that was it for day 2. And then day 3, I only had a few big pickups, and I stepped out of my comfort zone. And I mostly focus on baseball and football, right? A little bit of football, mostly baseball. It's Brandon's baseball cards for a reason, because I focus on baseball, right? I stepped out, and I thought I was getting a good deal on a vintage hockey pack. In particular, it's this pack right here, 1980 O-Pee-Chee hockey. PSA graded near mint 7. Looks pretty on the back. The folks I bought this from, they actually had two of these, and one, the first thing I did was look at the back, and it was just jacked up in the PSA holder. But this one is nice and clean. But they had a show special on the price tag, and I honestly thought it was a good price. And I was right if it was 5 years ago or 4 years ago. It would have been a very fair price. I overpaid a little bit for this pack, and it bothered. I didn't check eBay sold listings, which is a total amateur move. I got confident. Hey, I know a good deal with a hockey pack when I see it. No, I made a mistake. You know, it happens. But you know, just overpaid a little bit. But this was the very last little bit of my budget, minus like $30. Okay, so I had $30 left after this pack walking around. 30 bucks. And literally 5 minutes after I bought this pack, I see a pack that is incredibly priced, and it's a single pack. Again, some of the best deals happen when a dealer just has a few packs and the rest are cards, because people, I think, they just want to move the packs for some reason. They're like, this doesn't really fit with the rest of what I sell. And so sometimes the dealers that have only a few, they'll price them fairly to try to move them, which is nice. That's what you want. You want fair prices. And I walked by and I saw a pack, and I said to Dylan, my brother, I just said, look at that. I want that, and that price is amazing. And so what I'm actually doing is I'm in the process now of the 19, because I have to offset the budget. I took a little bit out of the bank account, you know, went over budget just a little bit for the cash that I had. So I'm going to sell this 1980 O-Pee-Chee pack to help offset the cost of this pack. Check this out. 1975 Tops, Fred Lynn on top. 1975 Tops cello. Sorry, I'm trying with this glare. It is difficult with these slabs. It is not doing justice to how beautiful this pack is, but this thing is absolutely freaking gorgeous. And I got this for several $100s below what I think is the standard market price. So check that out. Fred Lynn on top. And it also has a Reds player on top. It has Ed Armbruster, which is really cool. So I got that, and that was my last pickup for myself. And then I picked up some packs for my kids to open, just for, you know, because they love opening packs, which is awesome. So I picked up some non-sport stuff, you know, Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, a few things, and I put together a little pack kit, or a little collection of packs for both of them, just to open. But overall, that was, you know, that's the show, you know. And my brother and I were talking last night, and I think it was the greatest national I've had from a building the collection experience, despite some of the disappointments with the increasingly corporate feel to some of these hobby icons that we have. And, you know, I guess it's just inevitable that happens, but, you know, it's just something we have to deal with in the hobby. But there are good local dealers still. Kurt Christensen, Ripping Vintage Packs. You know, I have video just of his booth, and I said it was my favorite booth for the reason, and it's because he is a small, it's a small town dealer type field, with a lot of really quality vintage and open material. But the hunt continues. Had a great time with my brother. I can't wait to go again. It'll probably be, if not next year, it'll definitely be the year after. So sometimes we have to skip years just because you need a budget to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed all the show footage. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the show. Thank you all for being along for the ride. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. Until the next time, keep collecting vintage and open baseball, everybody. If you're still at the National, enjoy the rest of the show, guys.